So now for the second technique that we're going to look at is the combination of a hammer-on and a pull-off. So before we go further, I'm going to explain what a hammer-on is, since at this point you're all pros at getting the pull-off. A hammer-on is essentially when you pluck one string and you insert your finger onto another fretboard while the other string is still ringing, while the other note is still ringing. So as an example, let's look at the G string on the 5th fret and the G string on the 7th fret. If you were to pick it, it would sound like this. Right? So now what happens if I just want to pick once? So see, as the note's already ringing on the 5th fret, I'm hammering on. As the name implies, think of your finger as a hammer, and it seizes already plucked note and it just inserts itself with a bit of force. And you want to try to make sure that your finger comes down in the middle of the fret, because that's where you're going to get the best sound. So the next technique involves a hammer-on and a pull-off, which, as I said earlier, is often used together in the blues. So first we're going to pluck the G string on the 5th fret, and we're going to hammer on and pull off at the same time. So hammer on, pull off. So the technique again is, so just to make sure we're all looking at the same thing, we're basically on the G string over here, and we're going to be plucking the 5th fret, hammering onto the 7th fret, pulling off back to this note, which is the G string on the 5th fret, boo-doo-doo, and playing this note twice, the D string on the 7th fret, doo-doo. So it's going to sound like this. So now we're going to take a closer angle. A bit slower, you hammer on, pull off, so now we're going to practice with some time being kept. And before we do the whole movement, we're just going to practice the hammer-on and the pull-off. Now we're going to practice with some time. So now that you have that down, now we're going to practice with some time the entire technique. 2, 3, 4. So as you could see, it's a pretty simple sounding series of notes, but there are techniques that are underlying this the sound that's coming out of the guitar. And I just want to say that if you do have difficulty with either the hammer-on or the pull-off, if you're finding that it doesn't sound fluid or solid together, then take a step back, put a metronome in the background, and just practice whatever sub-issue in the technique is posing challenges for you. And once you get it, then you can put it together, and then you can start playing these licks.